representing the Cape Cod Fighting Alliance, he is the beast from Hollywood East, Michael the Hammer Mulligan.
Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here. Today's fireside chat, we got one of the most sought after trainers in the MMA Muay Thai stand-up world. We got Mark Dellagrotte of Sityodtong in Boston, Massachusetts. You might have seen Mark on TV. He's got a signature scully cap with his black rim glasses. He's in the corner of a lot of pro fighters. Marcus Davis, you know, he's done Tim Sylvia. He's done a lot of people. He was on one of the UFC shows as one of the trainers, one of the coaches. Great guy. It might be easier to get him today if you're a young and up-and-coming fighter than you would think. As you listen to his interview, watch his clip, you'll understand what I'm saying. And watching the clip, you're going to see my son, Shane, the future Mulligan, as a young and up-and-coming fighter. And you're going to see him just come in with, you know, Shane's got great trainers who were taught by Mark Dellagrotte. But you'll see Mark come into the picture, and Mark will teach him just these small, subtle moves that'll totally change his game. It's a really beautiful thing to see, and I hope you enjoy it. There it is. Yeah. Drop the hands. Yeah. Don't want about it. That's it, James. Cool. You feel the difference? Yeah. Even that one. Forward. Head on the pad. Elbow on the pad. Now drop that elbow. There you go. That's it. Punch your hip up. Long. Give me your legs. Good. Think of me pulling it out of the socket. I want this all to get longer. Your hip muscles are holding your hip in place. Let it go loose and long. See? Yeah. Now you're kicking like your height. You were kicking like this before. Like this close. You was used to sparring little guys all the time. Look at long. Flex the hips. See how when I started pulling on your hips, it changes the kick? That's it. Where's your stance coming from? Look at your hands. That's it. Don't start the kick from here. Start from here every time. Okay? That's it. Make sure, remember, pull your leg out. That's it, Shane. There it is. Much better. Now you can use the reach the way you should. Jab. Stepping deeper with that jab. Yes. Remember I did you with the elbow? Jab like that. That's it. Put that jab right in the mouth. One jab. Good. Jab elbow. That's it. Again. Raise the hand on your elbow. Jab elbow. That's better. Elbow here. Go. Use your reach. That's a little better. There you go. Reset all the way back. Good. Reset twice. You're kicking. You're hit here and then you're bang. Lock it down. Ready? Step in. Good. Now use your reach. There you go. Let the blood go to your foot.
This is what's up right here.
Good. Let me see that kick slow. Let me see your hand position. Yeah, I don't want to see that palm at all. Sometimes when you kick, turn the palm. Sometimes I see your palm. I don't want to see that palm.
Don't kick like this. Make sure that hand rolls, because when this turns, and then the hip turn, it all. Okay. That's better. Good.
Yeah, you were going this way. You went to it. Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here. Today I'm with crew Mark Dellagrotte from Sityodtong, Boston, Massachusetts. What's up, Mark?
Swadee Cup, Mike.
Swadee
What's
Cup.
going on, bro?
Another-
Good to be down here in the Cape, checking Fireside.
I'm glad you're here. We were lucky enough to get him because he's down doing a seminar down at CCFA, and it was great to watch. The stuff that he brings to the table is huge. You know, I watch some of the guys in there. They learn from Mike and Pat and all them, and they do a great job. Mark is the next step up. Mark's where they get their stuff from. So, Mark, how long have you been at this?
Been at it for too long, Mike.
It
seems too long. My bones are old. I'm getting old. Nah, I never get tired of doing this. You know, Mike, I've been at this since I was a young kid. I've always been energetic. I've always been, you know, into being athletic and into sports and fitness. And my Uncle Joe, Dr. Joseph Dellagrotte, my father's brother, got me started at a very young age in martial arts. He does bone and muscle therapy and sports massage, and he practices a little bit of everything, to tell you the truth. And he's a world traveler. He's an avid martial artist. He's always been into health and fitness. He kind of gave me my start in the martial arts at a very young age. I looked up to him. I remember one of the big accolades my uncle had growing up was he almost summited Mount Everest with a hiking team from Great Britain. So, I mean, growing up and having somebody in the family that was going off to hike Mount Everest.
Pulled you in the right direction.
Yeah, who's this guy? You know, I mean, my other uncles are drinking beer, starting fights at barbecues, you know what I mean? And this uncle's going off and he's scuba diving in the Caribbean and he's climbing Mount Everest. And it was just, my Uncle Joe always intrigued me, and martial arts always intrigued me. And he was the vehicle to get me from my interest in martial arts to actually getting in gyms and actually training martial arts. So been at it since a young age, close to 14 years old. I think I started.
Wow.
And again, you know, as tired as my body is, my mind doesn't get tired doing this, Mike. You know,
Yeah.
I'm in this for life. I'm in it to win it. You know?
Tell me about Thailand. Tell me about how you got Sityodtong, how that all came along.
You know, Thailand kind of fell right in my lap, Mike, to tell you the truth. You know, I was in the gym training one day, and I was always been into martial arts and trained with a guy by the name of Guy Chase, oddly enough, a gentleman by the name of Guy Chase, who was a Seabrook, New Hampshire native, but had traveled throughout the world learning these rare and exotic martial arts. And I had studied classical martial arts up until the time that I met him, Taekwondo, Shotokan karate, that my uncle got me started in. And I met this guy, Guy Chase, and saw this rare, exotic martial art of Muay Thai, Thailand's native sport of kickboxing. And I started training with him, and before you know it, he was unable to stay locally. He wanted to pursue his career as a martial artist and travel further, so he left me with a small group that he had started in the Boston area to teach and to carry on what he had started. And my teaching career began, and that was going back to about early 90s, maybe 1990. And when Guy Chase left the Boston area, I was forced to maintain the group and to run a school, and I did so for a couple of years before.
How old were you at that age?
I was about 17 years old when
Wow.
I was training with Guy Chase. Yeah, so that was my intro to Muay Thai through this guy Chase. But what happened was a gentleman by the name of Tom Woods, who is still a friend of mine and actually affiliated with the gym, and actually is one of my staff members, great addition to our staff. Had basically come into the gym and said, hey, you know, I want to learn Kali and Silat and these different martial arts that you do, these rare exotic martial arts. And I said, yeah, that's great. You know, what do? You know, it's always important for a martial arts or anybody who is willing to grow in anything to seek knowledge and to seek somebody. So
There's
I said,
never enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what do? You know, what's your gig? You know, he said, well, I've been to Thailand a couple times, and I fought in Thailand, and I said, man, I've always wanted to go to Thailand. And again, you know, this is guys right off the street just came in to watch classes at my gym that I
Fell
just
in your lap,
opened.
like you said.
Fell right in my lap.
Wow.
And I said, when are you going again? And he said, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. And I said, can I go with you? And he said, yeah. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane with a kid I didn't know from a hole in the wall to Southeast Asia for a month and a half.
Why not?
And it was an opportunity. It was rare. I seized the moment, and I took advantage of that opportunity, and the rest is history. You know what I mean? The story goes on and on from there. And that was my first exposure to Thailand and Thai boxing in the Kingdom of Thailand, and the camp and the family at Sityodtong took me in and welcomed me with open arms. I got my in through this guy, Tom Wood.
So you're talking about the camp and the family of Sityodtong in Thailand. That is where the name originated.
Correct.
I
Yes.
got you.
Sit
Okay.
actually translates to student of Yodtong. Yodtong being the master of Thai boxing, kind of like the Elio Gracie, the oldest
Sure.
Gracie of the Gracie family. You know, the Sityodtong legacy is almost, I like to compare without legal action being taken against me, but almost like the Gracie family of Thai boxing. And I was blessed to not only go to Thailand to get to enjoy and experience this rare and beautiful martial arts, but I fell right into the right people that were
Sure.
doing it. I fell into a great legacy, and again, you know, they were very warm and welcoming when I came to them, and they gave me permission to use the name. And when I came back here to the States, it just flourished and it took off from there.
Wow, that's great. I can't wait. I want to send Shane to Thailand. I do.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. You know, anybody that's interested in going to Thailand, just so you guys know, you know, it's always good to train with local training partners. You always want to seek the best guys in the gym. You always want to train with the black belts, so to say, or the pros that are doing it, because those are the guys you're going to get the most experience and the most out of your training. Well, there's every one of them are like that in Thailand. You know, the 5-year-old kids are the best of the best, high level
Sure.
pro. So just to immerse yourself in the culture and to just be around it 24 hours a day, eat, sleep, and breathe it, does miracles for your training. I've taken people to Thailand that just had a terrible learning curve. They weren't getting any better. They're difficult to train. They go to Thailand, they come back, and they're twice as good as they were. You know,
it almost gives you a spiritual part of it too. I mean, it gives you a place in it. Now you're not an outsider trying to learn something that you know nothing about. It gives you part of the culture.
See, that goes right there to show you, Mike, that you're an experienced martial artist. Because again, you know, a lot of people see martial arts on the surface. You know, they see, oh, well, the kick's a kick and a punch a punch, and if I pay this guy the right money, he can teach me how to be good. Well, they don't understand that the art is derived from the people and the culture. And in order to understand any art form, specifically Muay Thai, because we're talking about it, you have to understand Thai culture,
Right.
Thai people.
Sure.
And when you embrace the art and the culture of the country, the art is easier to learn. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a spiritual trek. It's definitely a spiritual adventure. It's truly enlightening, not only from a physical perspective, like kicking and punching, but it just elevates your psyche. It develops you as a person.
Makes you feel like you belong.
It makes you feel like you belong there, and
Yeah.
it makes you feel good about doing Muay Thai. There's more than the ring and the sport and the kicking and the punching and the prize money. You know, it's about culture. It's about respect. It's about discipline and
It's
honor.
the foundation.
Yes.
And that was when I said it, Mark, it wasn't that I'm a great martial artist, because I'm not, but what it is, it's basically, in my eyes, it's life. Anything that I'm going to do, I need to learn from the beginning. I got to know why I'm doing it. And that's it. If you don't know that, then you're just wasting it, spinning your tires.
That's exactly what I mean by that, Mike. In order to understand Thai boxing, you have to understand Thai culture and Thai people. And when you can embrace that, then your cup is empty and you're ready to learn. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of things that's missed nowadays. You know what I mean, Mike? It's like everybody, you know, you go to these local mixed martial arts shows or just the big level, high level martial arts or MMA shows, and it's, hey, bro, what's going on, bro? Hey, it's very laid back, you know. And my group has never been like that. I was never taught like that. You know, it's always a bow or a Y, a symbol of respect. You know, cultural aspects. My students know, you know, basic Thai language and the vocabulary of the art. But what I was leading on, what I meant to say was that's kind of lost nowadays. You know, it's really not about that no more, and that disappoints me. And that's something that the Sityodtong camp and the legacy has taught me, and that's something that I like to instill on my students. That it's really about the core values of martial arts that are lost today: honor, respect, courage, loyalty, wisdom. You know, knowledge. You know, these are core values of martial arts, and on the surface of things, a lot of people don't see that. But when you go to Thailand and you see how poor these people are, but how proud they are, and like you just gain a different respect. It's truly a spiritual adventure and an awakening, and I think Shane will really benefit from that trip someday, as anybody would.
Yep. Now back years and years ago, when people got their sons and daughters or whatever into martial arts, it wasn't for the fighting, it was for that respect. It was to teach them that whole core value. It was, yeah.
You know, and again, you know, nowadays you get people getting their kids involved into martial arts for babysitting needs, or for the fact that they don't want their kid to get bullied or anything like that. And again, these are all valid points, and I guess you know, things that could be taken into consideration. But the overall picture of martial arts training is to build values.
Correct.
And I think that if the martial arts are taught right, that you can really teach, your children.
And the thing that I like also is that, and I've said it before, is that it gives a person an individual goal, an individual task, even though it is a team sport, teach a crew, everybody's together in this. When you walk in, it's like a family, but it's not like the football field, you're getting lost in the middle of the field. At the end of the day, you're getting in and you're testing your values, you find out where you get to, your skills, where you're weak, where you're strong, and everybody's so humble.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that I know that I train with are humble. I know I go to some of the fights and I see some of these guys that are really disrespectful and I want to smack them.
Yep. Unfortunate, sad, but true.
But in every sport, though, it's not this.
Keep the eyes out.
Ah.
Be disrespectful. You get smacked up by Mike here. You don't
Hammer
want that.
time.
See the size of those hands? See the size of those hands? But you're right though, Mike, and at the end of the day, I think that's a little bit lost, and that's something I always like to make a point in any interview, any discussion, anything I do. I always like to make that point be known, that it's not about kicking and punching and fighting. It's a higher level of spirituality, and the core values need to be present.
Beautiful. You open another school? Is there another sityodtong?
They're opening left and right.
Really?
I know.
They're not affiliated with you?
No, they are.
Okay.
Right now, I know Krutoy, the manager, owner, and operator, the son of Sityodtong, is expanding his brand, the Sityodtong brand. We've expanded to Singapore. We've got a huge gym going in Singapore now called Evolve.
Yeah.
A lot of our famous fighters and trainers have relocated to that location in Singapore. Krutoy is periodically there. We have Walter Michalowski, the sleeper, legendary Muay Thai practitioner, flies the Sityodtong flag. He's in Pasadena, California. Krutoy will be there next month doing seminars. We have a representative under me, Peter Pinto, who's in Las Vegas. We have obviously our friends and family here down at the Cape, CCFA.
Sure.
We've expanded a lot, and that's one of the things that I've focused on the last couple of years, Mike, is actually not necessarily expanding my brand from a financial perspective, but expanding the brand and the amount of people that I can reach and that I can touch. I'm only accessible to a couple hundred people.
Expanding your culture.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm only accessible to a couple hundred people in the Somerville area, in the Boston area, and then of course I need to branch out from there. I need to do seminars, which I do nationally and internationally. But again, with the seminar things and spreading out and teaching a lesson here and there and a seminar here and there, I don't have that sense of family. It's kind of like the cheap, you pay me, I give you this, I'm in, I'm out, that's it.
No, but I gotta disagree. I mean, all right, from a guy who just watched you do this, okay? I mean, I watch Shane takes Muay Thai from Pat and Mike, and he learns the whole MMA from them. Now, I just watched him come in and do a seminar and teach him 2 or 3 different things that tell me, didn't it improve?
Change his game. Definitely
it did. It definitely, and you'll see a little bit of a video we'll run on this, but it really did. There was just little things that that you have in your sleeve that can really up someone's game.
Yeah, and that's why I do things like that. I do seminars and I do lessons and I try to streamline what the practitioner has been doing and what he needs to do to try to get him from point A to point B quicker. But going back to what I was saying was, lately for me it's been more of an intimate, so to say, for lack of a better term. I'm sorry, with all due respect, we're by the fire, and I ain't trying to get intimate with you, Mike, but that's another show.
Yeah.
That's another show.
We'll bring Mike Grayson for that.
We'll bring
drop trial.
Keep him out. We locked the door for this one. By the way,
Dynamite is here to keep him out of here.
But at the end of the day, it's about being connected with the people that you train.
Yes.
And again, I'll go anywhere and I'll do a seminar and I'll get just as much out of them as they'll get out of me. But I really appreciate having family in this thing, and that's why I've expanded with more affiliates, and I've gotten closer with you guys here down at the Cape, and my other affiliates that I have, Tom Hafer's US MMA, I have Eric Connor in Philadelphia, who is Nakamura Muay Thai. So again, we've expanded not just because we want to expand the brand, but we want to reach out to more people because we see what's going on with the sport, we see what's going on with the lack of loyalty, the lack of respect, the lack of core values, and that's something that I've been really big on lately is getting back to the basics, bringing my people back in. Who's with me? Who's against me?
And it's humility.
It's humility.
It really is.
It really is. Yeah. It is, and it's all about getting back to doing what I love to do, and I'm trying to tighten it all up, trying to bring the people that are close to me closer, and keep my enemies, if I have any, further. You know what I mean? So I'm focusing on that now, and a big step in doing so is coming down here to the Cape and spending time with your son and the students here at CCFA, and developing their program just as much as I'm developing my program up in Boston.
Beautiful. So if they wanted to learn more about your seminars and your program and stuff, do you have a website?
We do. It's sityodtong.com.
sityodtong.com.
You got it.
All
and
right.
also look for AKA Dellagrotte Karate.
Ooh, cheap. All right. Now, the first time I ever saw you, all right, was this is before I personally knew you. I saw you on TV. Your signature hat and the glasses
Hat and glasses.
is UFC.
Yeah.
You were on a show. You were head coach for one of the
Ultimate
teams?
Fighter season 4. I appeared on. It was a season they called The Comeback.
Nice.
There was a lot of UFC veteran fighters. Chris Lytle and Matt Serra were two of the main events in the welterweight division at 170, and then the final for the middleweight division at 185 was Patrick Cote, who became a longtime friend and student of mine after that show, and Travis Luda. It's a great experience. This is going back to, I believe, 2004, I want to say, close to about 2004. I had the great pleasure and opportunity of working with, to work with George St. Pierre, Mark Lehman, Randy Couture. So, I mean, when I heard that I was going to be featured as a coach in The Ultimate Fighter, it was amazing to me. You know, it was just like, wow, I guess I've arrived, but I feel so young, I feel so new at this. But you know,
it's a relatively new sport.
Right, it is. But when I heard that I was going to be featured as a coach on the show, I obviously was excited about it. But to hear that who I would be coaching with, and to think that, man, they got me as a coaching staff with Randy Couture, George St. This is ridiculous. So it was a great opportunity, and it was a catalyst. You know, it was something that I was in the right place at the right time. I had already been training Kenny Florian, who was a finalist against Diego Sanchez in The Ultimate Fighter Season 1. Dana White knew me. Lorenzo Fertitta knew me. The right people knew me. My fighters were winning fights in the UFC. And the call came, and like anybody else would do, I jumped all over it. And it changed everything. You know, it helped me develop as a person, as a coach. Put me in front of the camera. I learned a lot about TV time.
You didn't go all Hollywood either. I mean, you're still here. You're still guy's still in the grind, in there. You'll see him. He's always training. This is the thing that I love.
I can't let up, man. It's guys like your son. You know, I let up for one day, and you got a 16-year-old monster, aka Mulligan Jr.
Shane the future Mulligan,
knocking down my door. I got to answer that door. You know what I mean? So it's tough to stay on top, and the sport has grown a lot since I've coached. The sport and the fighters and the athletes have all developed further, and that's also been challenging to me as well, is to stay current, like as anybody else would have to, and to stay in shape, and to make sure that my curriculum and my fighters are performing and everything's up to par. You know?
Well, they always do. It's always great seeing you in the corner. You know, it's a good show. Who are some of the people that you coach that are in the UFC?
I've had a long list of UFC fighters, starting all the way back from Jorge Rivera, Keith Raquel, which was AKA Team Elite back in the day, that came to me to collaborate with the striking. I went forward from there to work with, geez, I could go on, and if I wanted to name all of them, there's quite a few. I mean, Sean Gannon, another local guy, didn't have much of a UFC career, but a UFC veteran. I've worked with, you know, Drew Fickett, Spencer Fisher. I've worked with Patrick Cote, Travis Luda. The list goes on and on. Marcus Davis. I mean, you know, a lot of local guys that have made it. Alex Karalexis, a lot of local guys that have made it to the UFC. But I've had a lot of fly-ins, Mike. You know what I mean? A lot of people that come in. You know, they look for specialty training, a specialty camp. I'll run them through like a 3 or 4 week training camp where they're trying to specialize in their striking or develop further.
I've seen it. Tim Sylvia.
Tim Sylvia was in it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, to think of how many people have been through that small basement gym in Somerville. It's amazing to me, you know. That
I go in there in my head, it's like almost hits the ceiling. Yeah,
you know, he can barely fit this way and this way. Giant, this guy. Man.
It's all you little Somerville guys. You know? Then you got John, though. You got Johnny Johnson in there, who's a monster also.
That's another guy, another big guy. You know, and big guys are hard to find. You know what I mean? And guys like yourself. You know, are hard to come by. So it's difficult to find, you know, training partners for John and training partners for guys like yourself when you're preparing for fights. But we've had all walks and shapes and sizes come through that gym, from 25ers all the way up to 265ers. You know, they've all been there. So it's been a great pleasure and a great opportunity. And one of the things I've been kind of leaning towards now is I still appreciate having UFC veterans and having big names in the big fights. But again, you know, just over the last couple of years, I've really tried to gone back to what has built me and what has developed myself.
Nice.
And I'm having a lot of fun right now, Mike, training amateurs and cornering amateurs. I mean, a lot of people see me at the shows and they're like, it's a Sunday night. You're in Worcester on a Sunday night, an hour from your house, cornering one amateur. Like, really, you still do this? I still love to do that. That's how I got started.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's where it's going to end for me, actually. You know, at the end of the day, you know, when it's all said and done, everything in life comes full circle.
It's gonna be that wrinkly old Mick in the corner. You know, really though.
Call me Mick. I've had that said to me before. But, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to, you know, giving back to what these guys have done. You know, it disappointed me for a little while to actually see that I had these UFC fighters coming in, all these great great fighters coming in, and the guy that's been there every day, grinding it out as an amateur, who looks up to me and wants me to hold pads from every day, gets pushed aside, and I would train the UFC fighter. You know, that kind of bothered me for a little while, and it affected some of the fighters in the camp, and I came to realize that I think everybody deserves attention equally, whether a UFC veteran or whether you're an amateur first up, coming up, you might be that next superstar. Right. So I've gotten back to my basics and training local, young, up-and-coming fighters, and I find it truly rewarding. You know, I think I get just as much gratification to hear Marcus Davis tell Joe Rogan that, man, I was listening to Mark Dellagrotte and he coached me through the fight, and you know, he's my mentor and blah blah blah. I get just as much out of that as I get from seeing an amateur title strapped around one of my 135-pounders waist at a local show. You know what I mean? I think it's truly rewarding to see people grow and to see people use what I've taught them. I feel that they've grown from me. And
how long have you been with Tataki?
Tateki's been with me probably, he's been with me probably for about 7 or 8 years, going on 7 or 8 years, maybe even longer than that. He's one of the old generation. He's been there for a very long time. He's been a loyal student.
Is he going on the UFC show? I thought I read that on the line. I think Shane read it online. He was going on.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some involvement with the Tough Show. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've signed a confidentiality.
Of course, I didn't want you to say. I just, it's online that he's going on. So
he's in the mix. So be sure to look out for him there.
Of course,
And obviously, he just had a fight with Bellator. It's obviously public information. He just had a fight with Bellator. He fought a very tough Saul Almeida, who's another local kid who's been looked at by the UFC. Joe Silva, Sean Shelley. They've been kind of scouting him, kind of looking around, and they always got their eyes everywhere. And Tateki faced him, a very tough opponent. Unfortunately, he lost, but fought a very tough 3-round decision. And you know, Tateki actually grows more from losses than he does from wins. You know, a lot of fighters gain confidence and gain momentum through wins, whereas a real fighter or somebody who's really hard on themselves will get up faster and further from a loss than they will from a win. That's the type of guy Tateki is, you know.
That's
look to see Tateki back into training, back into the ring or the cage really soon, and look for excitement. He always brings an exciting fight. He's always prepared to fight, and there's never a dull moment with him in camp or in the cage.
Great. Hey, folks, this is great. This is awesome. Mark Dellagrotte, thank you very much.
Dellagrotte Karate.
What's up? Folks, thanks for coming to another Fireside Chat with Michael, the Hammer Mulligan, and crew Mark Dellagrotte.
Heating it up over here, Fireside, baby. We out.